Did you know that before DMA Design settled on the name Grand Theft Auto, they were thinking about calling the game Racin' Chase? Now, I'm not saying that the name Racin' Chase would have doomed this series, but I think we can all agree that they made the right decision by going with the more memorable title. Names matter, and you definitely want to pick the one that sticks in your head. I bring this up because more than 2 hours into playing developer Kudo's newest action game, I realized that I had completely forgotten the title. And with a name like RunBean Galactic, can you blame me? Not only does it not roll off the tongue, but it's so forgettable that the developer actually forgot to even mention it in the title screen. Is the rest of this game more memorable than its title? That's what we're about to find out in this review of RunBean Galactic. RunBean Galactic is a simple game that you can buy right now for under $1. We don't normally review a lot of games that are that cheap, but after spending a few hours racing around the planet, I have a few things to say. Plus, this game comes to us from the same developer that gave us the brilliant Grizzland, which recently found its way to home consoles, thanks in large part to the Defunct Games audience asking for it. I figure that if Kudo is going to listen to us, then the least I can do is play his newest game. RunBean Galactic is a very simple infinite runner where we control an astronaut running around the edge of a two-dimensional planet. As the character runs, they'll need to jump over sneaky spikes and roll under the toothy traps. From time to time, the astronaut will hit a street sign, which will reverse the direction that they're running in. They'll also be able to pick up a handy shield, which will protect them from accidentally hitting a spike or running into an obstacle that they simply can't dodge. The goal is to simply stay alive as long as possible, with your time slowly ticking up in the center of the planet. Look, I wish I could say that there was some hidden depth or an extra layer to RunBean Galactic, but there isn't. This is the entire game. You can buy a few extra costumes in the store and go for the easy achievements, and that's about it. There isn't a leaderboard, or extra mode, or even a different planet to run on. About the craziest the game gets is a day-night cycle, which goes a tiny way towards making the gameplay a little bit less repetitive. Obviously, you can only expect so much from a $1 game, which is why I normally don't review games that are this cheap. However, there are a few questionable gameplay decisions that keep this from being the simple, inexpensive time waster that it could have been. A good example of this is how we can jump over spikes and roll under traps. Seeing as you can jump while you're rolling, there's never a reason to let your finger off of the roll button. This makes half the obstacles too easy, letting you focus exclusively on jumping over the red spikes. It would be better and more challenging if you could either roll or jump, not both at the same time. Perhaps the more questionable decision comes in the form of a wall that the player can't jump over or dodge in any way. As far as I can tell, the sole purpose of the wall is to rob you of a shield, since the only way to run through it is to take a little damage. This is bad design, and not just because there were times when I couldn't pick up a shield before smacking headfirst into a wall. We should be able to avoid every type of obstacle, so the very idea of purposely taking damage just does not sit right with me. There are other problems with the game, of course, but most of them can be explained away by the budget price. I mean, it would have been nice to run on different planets or experience randomized backgrounds. An extra mode or online leaderboard would have helped too. The game looks fine and is easy to play, but I quickly grew bored of the simple gameplay and samey stages. It's a runner that ultimately doesn't offer much new or original, even at the low price of $1. RunBean Galactic is fun for a while, but you're better off seeking out Grizzland, a much better game made by the same developer. With a cool look and budget price, RunBean Galactic makes a good first impression. Unfortunately, the mission to endlessly run around the planet, dodging spikes and traps, quickly becomes repetitive as the game almost immediately runs out of ideas. Worse yet, the runner gameplay is made too easy by a number of questionable design decisions, and you'll be endlessly frustrated by the obstacles that you can't dodge. With repetitive gameplay and no extra modes, RunBean Galactic is a game that, much like its title, is destined to be quickly forgotten. Hey, thanks for watching our review. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we post new reviews and features almost every day. Now, here's the question I have for you. What is a bad game made by an otherwise great developer? Look, making games is tough, and even the best developers have made some real stinkers. What are some of those bad games that came from great developers? Let me see your picks in the comments below. In other news, we'll be back later this week with more reviews, plus the countdown is on for the Die Hard game fan best and worst debut on Monday. While you wait for that, I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.